Hey, thanks for joining me. Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside, changing the way I walk. I've had a couple videos where I talk about the need for changing how you walk in nature, mostly from the lens of a practicing force therapy guide and how slowing down your pace will allow you and participants on a guided force therapy walk become more immersed in their environment. So to better appreciate the smells, the sounds, the movement, the feel of being in nature will better help deepen the connection. But today I want to talk about more specifically changing the way you walk, right down to your posture, to your breath work, to your pace, how your heel strikes the ground, or how your foot strikes the ground, rather. All these things have proven benefits to your entire well-being. So it starts with your posture, right? This might mean straightening up. Pretend you've got this string at the top of your head, and you're gonna pull it up, right? Maybe pulling your shoulders back. But that act alone will change your diaphragm, engage your core muscles. In that change in diaphragm, change in your posture, will change the way you breathe. So there's a risk of over breathing with your pace, with your cadence, especially if you, like me, and you're an avid dog walker, you want to keep up with your four-legged friend. But practicing nature connection and mindfulness and changing the way I walk so that I can deepen my immersion, so I can focus more. All right, so that ability just naturally slows you down, but that act of changing your posture will change your breath work. So we're designed as animals on this planet to breathe in through our nose, right? Your sinuses, your nasal passage has this complex and intricate system of pathways that is meant to filter, first and foremost, but it is meant to help the body perhaps maybe moisten and change the temperature, the humidity of the air as it enters our lungs, right? So when we breathe through our mouth, right, it's more of a direct path for oxygen into our lungs, but it might not be the way that our body best needs that oxygen. So if you can, breathe through your nose on the inhalation specifically, and there's a reason and a point to exhale through your mouth, but ideally most of our breath should be in and out through the nose. Obviously, while we're engaged in physical exercise, it becomes a little more challenging. So that might mean change your pace. Just slow down so that it is possible for you to keep moving, but focus your breathing through your nose. I'm not role modeling that very well because I'm talking a lot. So if possible, work on your posture. What that also does, focus on your breath work, is it'll change maybe even a little bit further down, and it's the rotation of your hip. If you can slightly tilt your pelvis forward, all right, that will differently engage your quadriceps so that you can actually walk instead of coming down and pounding that heel down. Think about how animals with paws, think about the foot rotation of a bear. Think about the walking stride of those forelimbs on, a big cat, right? So they don't strike the ground, they come in and they roll. A little bit of that has to do with their sensitivity and how they want to stay quiet and stealthy. But it's how our bodies are designed. So especially when we get into a little bit of a quicker pace and maybe even into a jog or a run, we tend to find our weight coming solely down on our heels. That impacts our knees and our hips, comes up through the spine. And we want to encourage low impact, right? Our life on this planet is a marathon. Right? So you want to make sure that you can do as much as you can to stay in this walking game from the long haul. So the act of changing your posture, changing your breathing, and engaging your diaphragm in a different way, to tilting your pelvis slightly will engage a different way that your leg operates, and so that you tend to be a little more flexible in the knee, a little less stiff and straight-legged. And think about, walking as an Olympic sport. Yeah, right there. You've always got, it's just a different style of walking. So you want to keep the impact low. This, in turn, affects your circulatory system. It in fact affects the greater system as a whole. We engage our breath work a little bit differently, and our posture. They're all connected through how messages are relayed through our spine, and it'll make us a little more efficient, a little stronger, and you will feel the difference in your body. And the only way to really focus on those attempts is to slow down your pace. So if you're going to be outside, which I encourage you to because it's so good for you, I encourage you to think about how you walk. Going for a walk is great. And if that's a practice, think about how you walk. From your posture, to your breath work, to how your foot strikes the ground. Might mean slowing down. And like everything else in life, once you have a habit, then things become more effective and more efficient, and you'll find yourself getting back to your regular pace and your regular speed with a new stride, with a new technique. I've been guilty of having a quick cadence, but it's taken me a lifetime to develop the soft footwork that I do. I've had family and friends comment on how quiet my footsteps are, despite the pace. Not like that guy. So, small tips, hints, other things to consider and think about while you're outside for a walk anyway. So, congratulations for being outside. Well done on enjoying nature on your walk. And if you're really interested in continuing your growth in your development, then small things to consider: posture, breath work, and how your foot strikes the forest floor. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Go outside.